Welcome to the Big Ideas Made Simple podcast. If you're new here, I'm Jess, and this show is for fast thinkers or people who see patterns quickly, generate ideas quickly, and often feel like their brains move faster than their calendar. This, for me, is not a hype show or something with surface productivity tips. I built this as a thinking show where we can take big ideas, strip them down, and make them usable for you today. And so in this episode, I want to talk about clarity. And I am going to say something that might irritate you a little bit. Clarity is not something that you find. It's something that you remove your way into. Clarity is a subtraction problem. And most people honestly think that they lack clarity because they need to do more research or have more time or collect more information or schedule more thinking or find more alignment. But I really don't think that's true for high capacity people. I think most people aren't lacking in clarity. They're lacking the skill of elimination. So if you're somebody who's wired like I am, you are not a person who struggles with generating ideas. You can see multiple viable futures all at once. You can look at your current life and say, I can build this, or I can pivot there. I could double down here. I could launch that. I could scale this. I could reposition entirely. And the worst part, all of those things I just listed feel completely viable. They feel doable because the optionality in them feels powerful. It feels strategic. It feels intelligent. It feels like you are staying flexible, which is a position that most people value. Here is the uncomfortable truth. Nothing compounds until something else gets cut. I'm the type of person that has read hundreds of books over the years, but honestly, very few of them actually have changed the way that I think about life. One that did, however, was 10x is Easier Than 2x by Dr. Benjamin Hardy and Dan Sullivan. And it didn't change my mindset because of growth hype, but because it taught the strategy of elimination. The idea that 10x growth doesn't come from doing more. Rather, it comes from removing what you're doing and developing a concentrating force at one thing. So 2x thinking says, how do I double down on this thing? Do I improve it? Do I layer upon it? How do I optimize what I'm already doing? And 2x is additive. 10x thinking, on the other hand, asks, should this thing even be on my plate? What deserves to exist in my world? What is noise, even if it's good noise? And that is the space where high capacity people get stuck, because you are good at almost everything you touch. We'd classify that as a Midas touch. You can optimize anything, improve anything. And so instead of eliminating, you consistently refine. Instead of cutting, you manage. Instead of choosing one direction, you try to move 5 forward simultaneously, because to you, that feels productive until it doesn't. And for me, this hit when I realized I was positioned primarily as an integrator. Now, I am good at that. I can build systems in my sleep. I actually have done that before. I can structure ideas. I can turn chaos into execution. I used to pride myself on the title of chaos coordinator, right? But when people used to ask me, long before I was ever an entrepreneur, if money didn't matter and skill was not an issue, what would you see yourself doing happily for the rest of your life? And every single time I answered, a public speaker. it never changed. My conviction in that never wavered. But my center of gravity has changed. I slowly built a reputation as the behind-the-scenes operator, the go-to problem solver. And it paid well enough. It was respected. It was certainly needed. Yet that thing drained me. Not loudly, but honestly quietly. It started with feeling like I was being underutilized. Not because I didn't have enough to do, but because I was doing too much of the wrong things. And there's a specific emotional texture to that because you're seen as competent, you're valued, you're definitely busy, but yet you feel slightly invisible. I once described this as I felt calm, yet capped, or safe, yet shrinking. And to me, that's not a clarity problem. It truly is a subtraction problem because I didn't need new skills. I needed a new center. And this is the key distinction for me. I didn't eliminate operations as a skill in my toolbox. I just made the active decision to eliminate that as my primary identifier. You see, when I would show up to events, I would lead with, I am the integrator. I am the former director of operations, not I am a speaker or a clarity architect or a strategist or a coach, right? And so I made the decision that I wanted to show up as a speaker, like I have always desired to be. And so I made a choice to invest in myself as a speaker. I built a keynote so I could pitch confidently. I got coaching on my delivery and structure. I rebuilt my calendar, and I said no to easy money that reinforced the wrong positioning. I even changed my bio and rebuilt my website and practiced introducing myself differently in the rooms that I stepped into. That, to me, is subtraction. It wasn't burning the boats or burning everything down, right? It was recentering my gravitational pull. And I mean, if I look back, I can tell you that I've seen this same pattern time and time again. One big space that it's been in for me recently, besides my own world, is that of I Love Coaching. It is an incredible organization built by Adam Roach and focuses on helping people build their own unique coaching business based on their skills, expertise, and passion, not their previous industry or role. And I loved the mission of changing and serving 100 million lives through the Real Coach method. And so I was bought in to Adam's vision. And when I first joined, there were many verticals, so many verticals, so many offers, so much potential in a variety of growth opportunities. And let's face it, every one of them was viable. Adam is a skilled visionary and strategic thinker of creating opportunities for others. But there was a problem. With everything being viable, nothing was being concentrated. It felt like I was being handed a million plates to juggle, and there were a million more waiting for me to be the one to pick them up. Energy was dispersed and focus was diluted inside the organization. So my execution consistently felt fragmented. Yet when we finally applied the 10x thinking, we recognized that it wasn't about adding effort. It was about eliminating options. And so we took the vision and the current products, services, offerings, verticals, etc., and chose one model, one executable path, one primary offer. And every decision that we made after that either supported it or it was paused. And that one decision created more traction in the company in months than the years of trying to optimize all of those different verticals. Because concentration multiplies. And that is the part most fast thinkers resist. You don't feel unclear because you're lacking in ideas. You feel unclear because you are protecting too many versions of yourself. Founder, operator, creator, strategist, consultant, speaker, investor, partner, parent. Everything is possible, but not everything should be primary. And you can truly hold multiple skill sets, but you cannot hold multiple centers of gravity. So until you actively decide to choose one, everything is constantly competing. And competing priorities don't compound. Now, this wouldn't be a Big Ideas Made Simple episode without taking that concept or that idea and turning it into an execution strategy. So here is what subtraction actually looks like for somebody today, right? First, I want to challenge you to do a 30-day anchor. Pick one thing for the next 30 days that is going to become your central focus. It's not going to be your only activity. It's just going to be the thing that centers your thought patterns, your speech patterns, and your choices. Everything else that you are doing either needs to feed that center or it needs to be put on pause. And pause just means that you stop investing your emotional or mental energy in it. Not, I'm still going to dabble or tinker with it, in my free time, but truly stop it. Then once you're anchored, the second thing you can do is an identity realignment. And for that, I would challenge you to write down how you currently describe yourself. And let's start with professionally, right? Write down who you show up as, and then look through that and write down, of those, who do you feel like you're becoming? If they don't match, then I would challenge you that you are reinforcing the wrong center of gravity. There is misalignment in that is leaking energy. And you cannot build forward while describing yourself backwards. Once you have clarity on the center of gravity and how you're showing up for the next 30 days, I want you to do a calendar audit. Open up, starting, let's say, the next week, and be honest. Is your calendar reflecting that declared center? If your focus is becoming a speaker, right? But your calendar is 80% operations and reactive cleanup, then you're not unclear, you're unsubtracted. Because time reveals truth. So when you have clarity on where your time is spent, and it is aligning with that anchor and showing up, agreeing with the identity that you're choosing for yourself, I'm going to give you the fourth and final piece of this. I need you to activate a kill list. Now, before you turn this off, it is an uncomfortable one, but it's not what it might sound like. I want you to write down 3 active initiatives that are good, but they're not primary. And I want you to work on intentionally choosing which one you're going to kill first. Not forever, but just for the first 30 days, right? So it's send the email or communicate the pause, remove it from your mental RAM, right? I would bet that the second you do this, you have immediate relief. And I'm going to tell you, honestly, probably some fear around it. But that fear is usually a sign that you're cutting out the right thing. Subtraction always creates space, and space creates force, so that force can create momentum. Clarity doesn't show up because you think harder or longer. It shows up because you remove enough noise that the next move becomes completely obvious. You don't need more information. You need fewer live wires. If this is hitting home, I'm going to challenge you, please don't overthink it. Instead, head on over to bigideasmadesimple.com, and that is where I am building tools and frameworks specifically for fast thinkers who want to move from scattered capability to focused execution. This week, I don't want you to add something else. I want you to subtract something. Pause on one identity. Kill one initiative. Reallocate one block of time towards your declared center of gravity. Because clarity isn't hiding from you, it's buried under what you are refusing to cut. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you on the next episode.